Hi students, now let us continue our discussion on strategic management. In this presentation, let us discuss the limitations of strategic management. Besides the advantages, there are certain disadvantages, limitations or negative effects which we can call as the arguments against strategic management. Now let us say these limitations one by one. The first one is a costly exercise or it is expensive. Strategic management process is considered as very expensive because the gathering of information and testing of various courses of action involve greater amount of money. The utility derived from this process is sometimes less than the expenditure incurred on it. Another aspect is that with regard to cost, this point is that strategic management is a costly exercise in terms of time. In terms of the time that needs to be devoted to it by the managers. Managers cannot ignore their operational responsibilities because the consequent loss the organization will be irreparable. Preventive measures, however, can be taken in this regard. Managerial activities can be scheduled in such a way that adequate time can be devoted to strategic work without consuming any time that managers have to devote to normal operations. Now, the next argument against this is that there may be the sense of frustration among subordinates. Sometimes, participant subordinates may undergo a sense of frustration due to their unfulfilled expectations. For example, the subordinates expect that the particular strategy adopted will be the one they prefer and they would accordingly get the associated benefits or rewards. But this may not actually happen as strategy selection is a general process. Then avoiding responsibility. Third disadvantage of strategic management is the risk of avoiding responsibility for the information that has been provided in the decision-making process and the conclusion drawn thereby. Now the fourth one is resistance to change. While discussing the advantages, we have seen that there is less resistance to change. It was an argument in favor of strategic management. Now here is another argument against strategic management. There is resistance to change. Resistance to change is commonly experienced everywhere. Here also there is a chance for resistance to change. Then complex and dynamic environment. Besides internal factors, as you know, there are external factors which may adversely affect the strategy. These factors may be the political, economic, social, environmental factors that usually affect business also. Now, next one is, it is not suitable for small organizations. This is another argument against strategic management. Sometimes expenses are so prohibitive that small concerns cannot afford to use strategic management process. Then lack of expertise and information. SWOT analysis has a very important role in strategic management that you know. It is an exercise which requires a lot of expertise and information. When these two are lacking, the utility of SWOT analysis will be questionable and it could even lead to formulation of wrong and ineffective strategies. Next one is lack of flexibility. Another criticism against strategic management is that it makes the whole approach very rigid. There is lack of flexibility. That is another argument against strategic management. Now, next one is there is no match in strategy formulation and strategy implementation. This is another argument against strategic management. No match in strategy formulation and strategy implementation. It may happen sometimes. There is a wide gap between strategy formulation and its actual implementation. The strategies are framed at top level but implemented at the middle level and also the lower level. A strategy of top management may mean different to different people at different levels like middle level and lower level. That is common. Then lack of commitment. Many people state that important reason for failure of strategies as the lack of commitment. The top management and everyone directly involved in the implementation of strategy should be fully committed. If they are not committed, there may be failure. So these are the various limitations of strategic management. Thank you for watching this presentation.